Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. Again, I'm Steve, and this is part two of our lift out connection video, where in part one we made up this wiring harness with this plug so that I can more easily connect the lift out section to phase two, and with a simple plug. And if you watched the previous video, you'll see what a mess that wiring was. I did have a question about why I have so many bus lines. Okay, and it's rather simple. My outer main line is on one bus line. My inner main line is on another bus line. My yards and sidings are on yet another bus line. All of my Smale switch motors are on another bus line. Okay, and then my lighting is on a separate power supply, photo cells, and that's a separate bus line. Now, is that overkill? Perhaps, but if I have a short on the outer main line, it doesn't affect the yard, doesn't affect the switch machines, doesn't affect the inner main line, all right, and vice versa for the others. So it helps isolate where a problem might be, okay, and makes life a little easier for the inevitable issues that every mile railroad will have at some point or another. At least that's my historical perspective. And all of my bus lines are on separate circuits, BD, whatever it is, not BD. Anyway, the 4-bus circuit breaker. So that helps isolate all the issues. So that's the reason why. So now on this wiring harness, okay, as you can see, I've shrink tubed everything, and on this side I've gone ahead and pre-wired a terminal block. Okay, and this will be the section that goes under the lift out. Okay, and this other side of the plug goes under phase two. Okay, and will mount permanently. There's screws to it there. And because of that, these have to go through the hole that this end of the plug mounts to. Okay, and the terminal block wouldn't be able to go through that hole, so I have to do that after I feed this, drill a hole and feed this. So, without any more descriptions, let's go ahead over to the lift out and get started. All right, so here's the lift out from here to here. Okay, I'll unplug the 5 set of RCA connectors, and then I'm going to pull this out. And normally it would slide in behind the phase 2 island, the Enola yard. But because I'm going to work on it, I'm going to put it up against the wall over here. And that will allow me to wire up the harness to it. So let's go ahead and pull this out. All right. Let's change sides. Okay. So we got it set down back here. Now the next thing we're going to do, and I got the harness right here. Got tools, wire, and all that there. And next thing I want to do is need to take this shelf, and let's switch views here. And a different perspective on it. All right. So, down here, this whole section rolls out of the way. So, all we have to do is slightly lift. And this is a portable work area. It's on casters. So we'll roll this out of the way. All right, and that gives us access to this area here, and we'll get that all cleaned up as well after we do some drilling. Now I want to make sure I'm clear behind here. I am. And we're going to use a 3/4 inch wood drill bit. And this is the ledge that the lift out sits on, all right, for support, and it locks in by going around these two corners. So we're going to drill a hole right here to mount this end of the plug. Here. We're going to put this one over here. We're going to put a hole right there. There we go. In it. Like I say, there is a keyway. Yep. Pilot holes with these mounting screws. Nope, simple as that. Now it'll just be a matter of mounting this up under the board and then connecting what was once that nest of wires onto this terminal block. Okay. So, next step is to connect this other terminal lock wires. And it really doesn't matter what order, as long as I connect the same wires from the 4 bus lines here to the same colors across the board, we're good. I mentioned in the previous video how the separate line for the lighting, because I have 2 red wires and 2 white wires, how I took and I separated out these extra red and whites and put a piece of shrink tubing around them, and did the same thing on this other side. Well, if you notice, and I don't have a close-up for you, but I left, this is a 12 position terminal block, and there's 10 wires. So I left the gap, the 2 extras, between the separate red and white wires for the lighting circuit. Left that there to further help distinguish those from the other red and white, so I don't get them mixed up. Here nor there. Okay, so we can now wire up this terminal block, and we are gonna, even though we don't have to, the bigger key is just to make sure that I connect up, I pair up the wires that connect to these properly. But I am gonna put them in a similar fashion. Okay, so I installed the wiring block underneath the lift out section first, and as you can see, I connected the wiring harness, was pre-wired to it, and then I connected all the bus wires to it. All right, and then I took a picture of it. Why? Because then I went under the island to install the other end of the wiring harness, and I wanted to make sure I have some way easily to verify, hey, I'm wiring this thing up and matching codes to the wires. So as you can see from these pictures, you know, everything checks out. So now it's just a matter of, did I get everything right on the plug itself? Okay. And just to show you, here's the mounting. The top section shows where the wiring block is, the wires underneath the lift out section, and the plug itself that's mounted to the island, and then the plug just unscrews and pulls out, and all the wire connections are done. Simple as that. And then you can see on the bottom picture where the wiring harness comes through from where it's been mounted to the other wiring block, and there you have it. All right, so with everything all connected up, the first thing I wanted to test was the lighting bus line. And so I shut down the lights, and the photocells kicked on the lighting, and lo and behold, all the lighting works on the lift out section. So that's one of the 5 bus lines that works perfectly. So stay tuned, we'll take a look and how we checked out the others. Okay, so now it's time to, that we finished and we cleaned up, let's check it out. All right, so we're looking at a switch here, and so let's see, pay real close attention to that switch that crosses the street there. All right, and look closely, and you'll see that it is working. Set to go to the right. Now it's set to go to the left. To the right. To the left. Okay? So, that bus is working. Alright, and as I've already shown, the lighting bus is working. So now all we have to do is check out the tracks, okay, to make sure they are working. So let's zoom this camera back out. See that SW unit over there? So we know that it works on the outer main line. Double check the switches here, make sure I'm not going to derail. That's on the outer. Now we'll bring it into what is the inner, but it's actually the reversing loop. Okay, so let's do that switch. And I'm on the switch. Okay, so the center or reversing loop works. Now we're going to switch on down and try out this next track here. Control that switch. Keep alive in this one. And that one works. Okay. Now the last place we gotta do is check these two tracks, make sure they're fine. Now the only place we didn't check is right here, so let's go back and run her through Woody's. Probably should have got a little bit more reliable engine out for this. Okay. So, there you have it. That's part 2, the actual installation of that wiring harness and cleaning up those wires. I'll insert a picture of the other side and show you that the web of wires is gone. So, with that, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.